All right, folks, welcome back to NewsOne Now here from Clark Atlanta University. On Sunday, activist Tamika Mallory was flying back from Miami to New York City when she had an issue with a seat where she switched her seat from a middle seat to an aisle seat. Well, when she got to the gate, the attendant there printed out a ticket, tore up her ticket, and said she was switched back to a middle seat. That led to a confrontation where she said she was disrespected. Then, and the woman who disrespected her was a black woman. Then a white American Airlines pilot came out to tell in the conversation, followed her on the plane, and ended up throwing her off the plane, including one of her fellow activists, my son. Talk about drama. Tamika recorded a 26-minute video on Facebook on Sunday, giving a lot of us a clue to what took place. She joins us right now. Tamika, good morning.
Good morning, Roland Martin. How you doing?
Doing great. You're having a news conference later today with your attorney, correct? What time is that going to be?
It'll be at 10:30 in New York City.
And what has been, here we are, obviously it is Tuesday, 48 hours later. What has been the response thus far of American Airlines to your video that has been shared and spread all across social media?
There really has been no response other than receiving, a complaint officer, someone in the customer relations department called me to take my complaint while I was in the airport, maybe about 2 hours after the incident. Other than that, I have not received a call from any of the senior management. I received a direct message on Twitter yesterday saying that they take the matter seriously and that they're investigating and will get back to me. But again, no one from senior management has picked up the phone to call me. And as you said, this is now 2 days later, and we have not heard anything from them.
Now, what was interesting is in your video, you said where the white pilot, when you then said you were one of the co-organizers of the Women's March, that did his tone change? Did how he treat you change? All of a sudden change?
Absolutely. I mean, when I told him, first of all, I want to be very clear about this because there are people who have said on my social media that, they know that I must have at some point been belligerent or been going off on the pilot. And I made it very clear on my Facebook page that after I had been intimidated, targeted, and was being thrown off the plane. At this point, I was being thrown off the plane for nothing, that I absolutely was righteously indignant. I was upset as anyone would be. And I did tell the pilot a few choice words. And so I'm not ashamed of that. And I would do it again if this situation happened again. But during me telling him off, I mentioned to him that I was one of the 4 women who led the Women's March. And at that point, he turned around and said, well, if you would like to have a conversation, maybe we could do that. But at this point, we had already had a conversation where he asked me whether or not I was able to behave on the flight and if I was going to be a problem on the flight, in which I told him that I was not. He had me to look at the flight attendant and to promise her that I knew how to behave and that I was going to conduct myself properly on the flight. I did that. He allowed me to go to my seat. I sat in my seat for at least 15 minutes without anyone saying anything to me. I didn't say anything to anyone else. And all of a sudden, my name was called twice from the loudspeaker. And I was told by another woman who had nothing to do with the incident, and she also was not one of the flight attendants, that I was being ejected from the plane because the pilot wanted me to be taken off. And he pointed at me and told the woman, yes, her, off. And so at that point, as I said, I began to let him know that it was white male aggression, that he was a racist, and the way in which he was treating me was happening because I was a black woman, and it was disrespectful and discrimination. And when I again
they also threw off your fellow activist, my son.
So that part, officers showed up, which they often do, to remove me from the plane. My son had done absolutely nothing, Roland. He didn't speak because he knows from doing this work that as a black man, if he were to get hostile, move his arms too fast, anything, he knows what could have happened to him. He did not say one thing. If anything, he may have asked the flight attendant, or the pilot, can we talk about this? Let's try to work it out. That was the only thing. Right. If he said that. He did not get loud. Nothing. I was the one who was loud. It was not him. Didn't say anything. When the police showed up.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When the police showed up, the pilot looked at him and told the officers, yeah, and him off too. Get him off of here too. For nothing.
What do you want American, this is my last question before I got to go to a break. What do you want American Airlines to do?
Well, I want them to, this situation, I believe, Roland, happened to me because it's happening to other people that don't have a platform. And so people are not able to get on Roland Martin's show to talk about this. I want them to go from giving people vouchers and saying, I'm sorry, to actual policy change that lets their employees know that if they discriminate and disrespect people, they will be terminated. That's one of the things. We'll talk about the rest of it as we go on. I'm sure hopefully you will have me back. But that policy change piece is very, very important for us to make sure that American Airlines becomes an example for corporations across the board, that they cannot disrespect people of color and discriminate against us.
All right, Tamika Mallory, we look forward to seeing if American Airlines will be reaching out to you as a result of this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh, my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.